Live from Lane Gymnasium, Lane Tech Girls Volleyball is on the air. The middle of 3 straight days of matches for Lane Tech. In their way today, the Regina Dominican Panthers. Just the first time these two teams have met since 2013. Just 3 recorded matches between these two squads, and Lane Tech comes in as the favorite if you look at the records in this one, but in this series it has been all Regina Dominican. 2 straight wins for them, including a 2-1 win the last time these two teams faced off back in 2013. So we'll see what the Panthers can do tonight as they look for an upset over Lane Tech. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Alex Burstein above midcourt here at Lane Gymnasium for what should be a fun one this evening. We're getting started about 35 minutes later than expected. It was supposed to be a 6 p.m. first serve, but it's a pretty thrilling JV matchup. Lane Tech took control in the first set, and then they looked like they were in control in the second set, but Regina stuck around. Lane Tech ended up pulling off the 2-set victory, but it was a close one in the first matchup of the day, and we'll see if we have a close one here in matchup number 2, the varsity matchup between Lane Tech and Regina. It has been a 5-11 start to the year for the Panthers. They were really struggling to start off the year. They had 8 straight losses. They finally got their first win on September 6th in their 9th game of the season. That was against Elgin Academy. But since then, they've been a much better team. They won 4 of 6 after those initial losses. They had a couple of, then they had another loss to ICCP, but they got back in the win column last night against Lake Forest Academy. So I guess we can say now they've won 5 of 7, I believe. They've been very hot as of recent, playing in conference play, and they'll look to bring that up in tonight's non-conference matchup against Lane Tech. Lane, meanwhile, there was an off week last week for them. They were not playing like themselves. A pair of 3-set losses to Whitney Young and Jones College Prep, which is likely going to put them out of conference title contention. However, now the eyes just turn to the playoffs. Lane Tech looking to get some valuable experience heading into the city playoffs and the state playoffs, and we'll be back in just 1 second. Palsy folks, we just had to get our camera with a slight fix there, as the referees did not want a light shining on the court, and we had a light coming out of our camera, so just had to do a quick fix there. But we are back to normal. We actually will have, I guess, a flipped camera view for tonight's matchup, a little bit different as we use the other side of our camera for this one. But as we were mentioning before we went off the air for a quick second there, should be a good matchup here today. We have a hot Regina team here who have won all 5 of their last 7 games, and then Lane Tech, after coming off a rough week last week, they were able to get a win last night to get back in the win column against Washington in 2 sets. So both these teams are kind of finding their footing as the season goes on, and they'll look to do that here tonight with another win against, it would be a pretty big win for both of these teams. Lane Tech just trying to get back to that 500 record. They come into tonight's matchup with an 8-10 record, so they're 2 wins away from getting to 500. For Regina, meanwhile, they're still a ways away from 500, but to get some momentum going before a possible playoff run for them. And looks like we are just about ready to meet the starters on the court, so we will get you the starters here. We just have them for Lane Tech. We'll see them for Regina when they enter the court. But for Lane Tech tonight in the front row, it'll be number 25, Amina Ahmad on the left-hand side. In the middle, it'll be Kinsey Copenhaver, who's been very hot as of recent on the court for Lane Tech. And on the right-hand side, Claire Anderson back into the lineup at home for Lane Tech here tonight. In the back row on the left-hand side, there'll be Lane Tech's leader in kills this season, number 22, Olivia Crane, getting the start. In the middle, number 12, Brooke Anderson, Lane's leader in total blocks. She gets to start in the middle back. And on the right-hand side, it'll be number 10, Catherine Hong. However, I believe she will not be starting in the game as Lane Tech's going to be receiving, and it will probably be Heidi Stauber in her place, Lane's starting libero. So that's how Lane Tech is going to look like to start off tonight's matchup. Going down the serving order for Lane Tech tonight, pretty normal to what we have seen from Lane this season. It's going to be it'll be Catherine Hong leading off, the team's leader in aces, who's just been far and away the best server on this Lane Tech team this season. She will get the start serving for Lane Tech. Then it'll be Maddie Gabaldon in the 2 spot, Kinsey Copenhaver in the 3 spot, Addison Stoner in the 4 spot, Claire Anderson in the 5 spot, and then closing it out is going to be Heidi Stauber. So that is going to be your 6-person serve order here for Lane Tech tonight. As we mentioned in our open, it's a very busy week for Lane Tech. They had a game yesterday against Washington. They have their game here tonight against the Panthers, and then they're going to have another game tomorrow against another Panthers team, Von Steuben. So back-to-back nights against Panthers teams. So those will be their 3. Then they have an off day on Friday, but they're back in action on Saturday, where they have a big invitational, 5 games against some opponents that should be winnable, but still some good competition for Lane Tech as part of a Northside Invitational. They're going to face off against Northside, Mather, Von Steuben, Niles West, and Peyton in that order on Saturday from Northside. But enough talk about the future. Looks like we are just about ready for some game action here from Lane Gymnasium. It's going to be Regina serving, Lane Tech receiving to start things off here from Lane Gymnasium. As I mentioned, first time these two teams have met since 2013. Back then it was a 2-1 loss for Lane Tech, and then before then it was a 2007 matchup between these two squads, and Regina got the 2-0 win. So it's been all Regina in this series the past 15 years or so, but we'll see if Lane Tech can flip the script on the Panthers here this afternoon. Regina and Lane Tech, 2 very different schools. For those of you not familiar, Regina, an all-girls school, just 270 kids enrolled from what I saw online. Lane Tech, obviously, over 44,000 kids enrolled. So Lane Tech definitely has a size advantage, both with the number of kids and just looking at the court right now in height. So we'll see how that plays into Lane Tech's game plan, as we'll see Heidi Stauber actually check in for Brooke Anderson to start off the game. So we will see Hong on the court, and it'll be Stauber, Hong, and Ahmad in the back row, it looks like, here for Lane Tech. As both the teams just waiting on the court here. I think Regina's looking to do one substitution as well with their libero, number 2, Delaney Kevin, the right side hitter junior. Excuse me, she's listed as a right side. She's playing as a libero tonight, so that's a roster error here, my bad. But she will check into the game, and looks like we are just about ready for action here from Lane Gymnasium. First serve, and we're underway. Hong gets the reception on the dig. Anderson from the far side pokes one over, but unable to find the ground. See the first kill attempt here of the day from the Panthers, unable to find the ground. Lane Tech has been really good this season when they're able to find early leads, as this one sent way too far off the hands of a Regina player. Looked like that was off the hands of number 3, Hanifa Adam, and it'll be a 1-0 early lead here for Lane Tech. Hong sends her first serve of the day into the net. An uncharacteristic error there from the junior. We have seen a lot of strong play from her this season. However, that one's going to go straight into the net, and we'll tie things up at 1-1 here. And after we see one go into the net, this one goes a little too far. So both the teams see some trouble here early with just getting their serves in play, as we'll see Maddie Gavaldon check into the game for Lane Sack. Second on the team in aces with 14 on the season. She gets this one in cleanly. Stauber with the set. And Crane, an excellent block there on the front line off the hands of, looked like Adam there. And Regina doing a very good job of staying in this one early. That was the first true kill attempt we've seen of either team. And Crane has been very impressive this year on the kill side of things. Leads the team in that statistical category, but unable to get her first one down there. As the soft serve finds the ground, Delaney Kevin. She was named Athlete of the Week at Regina last week for a very impressive performance at the Highland Park Invitational. And a very impressive performance to start off this one here, as she gets the first ace of the night, trying to make it 2 in a row, and this one just comes a little too far inside here, as Lane Sack will nod up at 3-3, and we'll see Kinsey Copenhaver serve for the first time tonight. Copenhaver's been playing excellent on the front line defensively for Lane Tech here the last couple of weeks. Second on the team in blocks, but we'll see what she can do offensively here in her first serve rotation. This one plays far off the arms of number 7, Gabby Kerrigan, the senior, unable to hold it down, and Lane Sack will take back the lead. We've seen a lot of back and forth play from these two teams early on. We'll see if either of these squads can establish an early lead here. Second serve from Copenhaver, played to the back row. Block there from Anderson and Crane. They'll set up this one, an excellent hit from Peyton Birch, who gets her first kill of the day off the arms of both Hong and Brooke Anderson there. And we were saying neither team has been able to build up a lead here, and once again, Regina will find a way to tie it up after Lane Tech goes up by a point. Hong with the back set, Crane excellently played there. Looked like she was going to go for the strong hit, instead decides to just kind of tap it over to the middle of the court. No one there for the Panthers, and Lane Tech gets back the lead. Campbell Wild checks into the game alongside with Addison Stoner. Plays this one to the back. Reception there by the libero for Regina. Heidi Stauber tries for her first dig of the night, but this one just goes too far towards the bleachers. And Regina will knot things up once again. We're seeing a pattern develop here. Regina really has not been able to score off their own point, but neither has Lane Tech, so the teams are playing very well off of their own receptions, struggling here with their serves, as Stoner plays this one a little too far while trying to set it. And the lead will go to Regina here for one of the first times here tonight. And this serve goes straight into the net by number 16, who we do not have on our roster. But once again, some serving troubles from both these squads. Sarah Thompson now back to serve for Lane Sack. This one received. Lane Sack serves have been going very far back here tonight. Will be interesting to see if they try to switch it up and go to the front row at all, as Campbell Wild unable to finish this one. A block in the front row there by Peyton Birch. Lane Tech has the size advantage there in the front row, but they've not been able to do much with it here tonight. Some impressive blocking performances here from a few of these Panthers players as they take a 7-6 lead here. Stoner sets it up for Anderson. And just missing there on the inside is number 11, Ella Grillo, the junior. And Lane will tie it up again. 2 Grillos on this team, number 4, Nora Grillo, and number 11, Ella Grillo. We'll probably see them both in the game here, and they're actually both in the game here right now. You see number 4 and 11 in the back row here for the Panthers, as an excellent block there off the hands of both Adam and Witchger, Maddie Witchger, number 9, as Regina once again taking the 1-point lead. So through the first about 10 points or so, we saw Lane have the 1-point lead. Now it's been Regina's turn, and Claire Anderson gets her first kill of the night to tie it up once again. It's kind of a different story than what we saw for Lane Sac last night. They had a very strong start to the game in set 1 against Washington. They were able to win it 25-14. As this one just gets over the net and will go down to give Lane Tech the lead for the first time in a while here. But then the second set got a lot closer as Lane Tech was just able to pull it out 25-23. Much different speed to this one here as we'll see an ace. And Lane Tech now off to possibly their biggest lead of the night. Catherine Hahn gets her team leading 30th ace of the year. And trying to make it 31, that won't happen, but she can still play for the points. Stauber digs it out. The front set. Anderson gets her second kill and 4 points. And Claire Anderson heating up in her return to Lane Gymnasium. In Lane Tech's last home game, she was not able to play due to injury. She played a little bit last night, and now back playing here for Lane Tech at home, as we will see a timeout called by the Regina Dominican Panthers, their first of the night. That is the biggest lead we've seen for Lane Tech here, 11-8, so not a substantial lead at all, but we talked about a couple of minutes ago, it really might come down to who can pull away by just a couple of points here. Lane Tech was able to do it, gain the first 2-point lead in a while, and now they hammer that point down with the kill from Claire Anderson. So we'll see if Lane Tech can keep it up here as they break out of their huddle in a couple of seconds. Just a 1-minute timeout here called by the Panthers. Last night it was a 25-14, 25-16 win over Lake Forest Academy, which is technically a conference matchup. One of the most confusing things I've seen in all of my years prepping for high school sports has been this conference that Regina Dominican is in. It's called the Independent School League, the ISL, and Regina used to play in a different conference, one of the Catholic girls leagues. However, they've moved on to this ISL one, as this one played off the hands of Stauber. She's unable to control it, and Regina will get their serve back. But there's about 19 independent schools in it. They seem to be from a pretty big region around the state, and originally I just thought it was all the teams who are unaffiliated, but then this Regina team does have conference games in this independent league like they had last night against Lake Forest Academy. So it's really just probably the biggest conference in the state, as Ahmad's kill attempt goes a little too far there. And after falling behind by 3, a couple of errors from Lane Tech has put Regina back within 1 here, 11-10 in set number 1. Probably not as dominant of a start as Coach Kwong and his coaching staff wanted for Lane Tech, but we'll see how they recover here. Anderson pokes it over, just over the hands of a Regina defender. And Lane Tech now back up by 2, as we'll see a pair of subs come into the game, and Maddie Gavaldon and Olivia Crane. Talking with head coach Norman Kwong for this Lane Tech team ahead of the game, he said they're really going to be subbing probably a lot more in these next couple of games. If a player's made a couple of errors in a row, he's not going to be hesitating to bring those players out, as a double block there off the hands of both Crane and Copenhaver. We talked about that front play of Copenhaver a couple of minutes ago. She's just been so impressive on that front line. As almost an ace here from Gavaldon, goes a little too short. Now Gavaldon gets the dig to keep this alive, and Ahmad has to bump it over. 13-10 Lane Tech, set 1. Olivia Crane does the soft touch over, and it seems like this Regina team is really prepared for Lane Tech kills, which is good because Lane Tech does have some strong outside hitters. But the thing is, Lane Tech is noticing that, and they've just been hammering the bumps to the middle part of the court here tonight, and that's led to quite a few points, as this one goes off awkwardly off the hands of Ella Grillo, and Lane Tech now off to their biggest lead of the night, up to 5 points now here in set number 1. Gavaldon again, she has a nice little serve serving streak going here. Ahmad gets this one straight into the net, and Regina will get their serve back. It's been 2 straight Lane Tech runs. The last one, the time it ended, we saw the Panthers go on a little run of their own when they got their serve back. We'll see if they can do that again here as Kevin serves it. Crane from the outside. An excellent block there in the front row from the Panthers. We're able to get it back over the dig. Ahmad plays this one a little too short. She went too strong on the kill the last point. This time she goes a little too short. And Regina cuts it to a 3-point lead as we're going to see Olivia Sprinkle check into the game for the first time here tonight. Sprinkle was not one of the players who was originally on the rotation sheet for Lane Tech here tonight, but she gets some early playing time here in the first set as an outside hitter. Crane from the other side just softly taps it over. The Panthers able to receive. This one played to the back row. Looked like that one was going to go out. Gavilan instead decide to play it. And just as we mentioned, whenever it seems Lane Tech gets a run, as soon as that run is broken up, it seems like the Panthers have one of their own. As it's going to go to just a 2-point lead for Lane Tech after they were up by as many as 5 just a minute or so ago. Kevin serves this one far, and Lane Tech will get their serve back as Brooke Anderson checks into the game for Heidi Stauber. It'll be Kinsey Copenhaver back to serve here for Lane Tech. This Regina team's been very interesting this year. They're yet to win at home, but they've been okay on the road. 3-4 in their road games this season. Actually, I'm not realizing they might have gotten their first home win last night as this one goes off the hands of Copenhaver, and Regina cuts it to a 2-point lead once again. But either no or 1 wins on the year for Regina at home. They've been almost a 500 team on the road. So if you're playing Regina, you're probably wanting to play them at home, which Lane Tech does not have here tonight. But this serve will go into the net, so Lane will get back their lead, as we'll see Addison Stoner and Campbell Wild check into the game for Lane Tech for Sprinkle and Hong. So the junior Sprinkle just in for a couple of points there. As Stoner plays this one to the back. Stumbling back there was Grillo, but she's able to receive it. Back set here for Wild. Plays it to the back row, unable to find the ground. Nice save there. And off the block, Wild and Anderson. One of the best blocking duos in the CPL, I'd have to say. Get this one down for the point, and Lane Tech back up for 18-14 as we near the end of this first set. This one played off the tape, almost fell for an ace, but a nice save there by the libero Kevin here. A little bit back and forth, finishing with the spike. Number 6, Peyton Birch. She's just a sophomore, but is able to find the point on that one. She's been very impressive here this season. One of the statistical leaders in a couple of categories here for the Panthers, and finds her first kill of the night there. Wild from the left side, and that one just way too strong. That one went off the hands of one of these Panthers players. It looked like Grillo there, and it almost went in the basketball hoop that's all the way up near the ceiling here. So some very impressive power on that hit there from Wild. And Lane now just 6 points away from a first set victory. They're up 19-15 here. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Lane Gymnasium. Sarah Thompson with her first serve of her second rotation. This one played very high, but then awkwardly off the hands of Gabby Kerrigan there. Kerrigan, a very defensive-minded player. A little bit of struggles here on offense early for the Panthers as Thompson will serve this one into the net. We've seen some uncharacteristic serving errors this set from Lane Tech. Seen a couple from Regina as well, but Lane Tech with a few notable ones. Stauber on the reception. Anderson almost got the kill there. Anderson's been one of the leaders in kills these last couple of games as she gets one there on her second try of the point. And Lane now within 4 points of a first set victory, a 5-point lead over Dominican. And it's always good when you have less points to go to win the set than your opponent has to tie you up. Lane Tech in a good position here. As this one played off the ceiling. An excellent save there from Stauber. Wild gets blocked at the net though. And excellent off the hands there of Hanifa Adam. And the Panthers cut to a 4-point game. One thing that's been very interesting for me watching this Lane Tech girls volleyball team play here at Lane Gymnasium, the teams have been able to play it off the ceiling. I assumed it would be a dead ball or something, but they allow it to play in, just like we saw there from the Panthers. They're able to get a point after it hits the ceiling, as this one blocked off the hands of Campbell and Copenhagen. Another one of those good frontline duos for Lane Tech. And they'll get back up by 5, 22-17. And I believe it's going to be Catherine Hong back to serve here for Lane Tech. So definitely a chance. She's able to get 3 quick points here to close out the first set. And going to call some foul there on this Panthers team as Regina is going to call timeout here, trailing by 6, 23-17, as their head coach Osan Rengeo hopes to have a quick word with his team to try to inspire his team to make some sort of late comeback here. Looking down the schedule, they have not had a lot of success this season after losing the first set. Trying to see if they've won any games after dropping the first set. It does not look like they have, so statistically speaking, would not be a great idea for Regina to lose this first set if they want to come back and win this match against Lane Tech, but anything could happen in volleyball, so we will see. That was interesting. It looked like the Panthers were the team that called the timeout, but they were only meeting for about 30 seconds or so, and then they go back on the court with about another 30 seconds to go, and they're just hanging out on the court there. Lane Tech using pretty much the whole minute here as they try to close out this first set of play. So we saw Hong get the first point. We'll see if she can get 2 more to close out a first set victory here for Lane Tech. First one. An excellent reception there from Nora Grillo, but the kill there looked like from Anderson. Gets Lane Tech within 1 point of the set 1 victory. Hong trying to seal the deal. This one played softly. Sauber and Anderson almost crashed into each other on the ground, but Thompson's able to put it over the net to keep this point alive. And this one just goes off the net, and Lane Tech will win the first set. It looked like the kill there was blocked by a couple of the Lane Tech players, but I guess there was no contact. It just took an awkward angle off the net, and Lane Tech will take the first set victory 25-17. So Regina was sticking around for the first 25 points or so, but then Lane Tech was really able to pull away. They get the 8-point victory in set number 1. We'll see if they can keep going in set number 2. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Girls Volleyball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Back here from Lane Gymnasium, a 1-0 lead for Lane Tech as they look to get the second set win and possibly a quick match win here against the Regina Dominican Panthers in some non-conference play on a Wednesday night here from Lane Gymnasium. Panthers stuck around early in that first set, keeping it had a 1 or 2 point game, and for a second there, they even had a little bit of a lead over this Lane Tech squad, but Lane Tech able to find their footing there at the end of the first set, and they cruise to a 25-17 first set victory over Regina. I think probably the most impressive thing we saw there from Lane Tech was just how varying their point scoring was. They were able to go off of both the soft shots. We saw some very nice kills from the outside. They got a couple of serving points. They were able to score some off of some airs from this Regina team, but just a very nice mix of points there from Lane Tech, and we'll see if they can continue that into their second set here, as both teams are going to come to the court with about a minute left still on the timer. It's a 3-minute timer in between sets. It looks like the 6 who are going to be on the court for Lane Tech to start off this second set are going to be both the Andersons, Brooke and Claire, to go along with Copenhagen, Ahmad, Hong, and Crane there. So the same 6 we saw to start the second set. It'll be interesting to see if Lane Tech goes up early in this one, if we'll see some of the bench players come in and get some minutes here on head coach Norman Kwong's sheet with all of his players heading into the game. He had a list of players who would go in if they were up by enough points, so it'll be interesting to see if those 5 or 6 will get in later this set, as it looks like it should be, it's going to be Lane Tech serving actually to start off this second set, as they were receiving to start off the first. Brooke Anderson will check out of the game, and Heidi Stauber will actually be starting off this second set on the court, and it will be Catherine Hong back to serve. So she ended the first set with 3 straight points while it was her serve rotation. So Lane Tech did a good job there at the end of the first set with her serve, and we'll see if they can start the second set strong for serve, and they won't be able to. This one goes a little too far. It's interesting. We saw Hong's first serve go, I believe, into the net there in the first set. And now here in the second set, she just plays it too far. And Regina will get the early lead here. Anderson from the near side just misses the outside line. And Panthers will go up 2. Regina has not led by more than 2 points here tonight. So if they're able to get a point here, this would be big for their confidence, and it would give them their first 3-point lead in the set here this evening. Sun looks like it's about set here outside of Lane Gymnasium, but action heating up. Ahmad goes with the soft touch there, but saved there by Grillo. Anderson from the far side punches this one out. She went with the soft kind of fingertip touch, but she was able to send it all the way to the back row there, and Lane Tech gets their first point of the set, and they do keep the Panthers from getting that first 3-point lead of the night here. It'll be Maddie Gavaldin, the number 2 server here for Lane Tech tonight, back to serve. Second on the team in aces. Can't get another one here there, but bumping into each other was Aaron Collins, and it looks like Ella Grillo. Those two bump into each other on the near side, and ends up being a Lane Tech point because of that. Gavaldin with the dig to save it. And Ahmad forced to punch it over, and I don't think she assumed she was getting a point off of that one, but once again, some miscommunication from Regina there. There was 2 players looking at each other in the back row, and they let it drop for a point instead, as an early 2-0 lead for the Panthers turns to a 3-2 lead now for Lane Tech. Gavalin's third serve will be served into the net and will knot it up at 3 here in set number 2. Lane Tech looking to get to 500 in their home games this year, coming with a 1-2 record at Lane Gymnasium. Played a lot more games on the road, as blocked off the hands there of Copenhagen and Crane on the far side. And we'll see Brooke Anderson check into the game for Heidi Stauber. And Lane Sack gets back their lead 4-3 here. Copenhagen will serve from the right side, but this one goes into the net. And once again, Lane Tech having some serving troubles here, just like we saw in the first set. Stauber will check in almost immediately there for Stauber. She was only out for a point or two before Lane sends their libero back into the game. It'll be the other libero, the Delaney Kevin, serving here for Regina. And originally it looked like Crane's Kayla hit the ground. It ended up not. The crowd was cheering, and Brooke Anderson ended up finishing the point. Either way, it'll be a point for Lane Tech. They get back the lead, but quite the sequence there as Addison Stoner and Campbell Wild will check into the game for Ahmad and Hong. That was one of the more powerful shots we've seen here from Lane Tech at home this season off the hands of Crane, as Kevin unable to receive that one. And Lane Tech will go up 2 for the first time this set. 6-4, early set number 2 lead for Lane Tech as they try to get a 2-set win here at Lane Gymnasium. Stoner has been one of the stronger servers for Lane Tech as of recent. Gavlin gets the set from the back row, and Anderson just pokes it over. That one played awkwardly there off the hands of Nora Grillo. And Lane, possibly they're starting to pull away. They were up by 2, now they go up by 3, their biggest lead of the set. They led by as many as 8 in that first set, which is what they ended up winning by. And another block in the front row, this one from Anderson and Wild. Really, you can go with any combo of Anderson, Wild, and Copenhagen in the front row, and you're going to be almost guaranteed a couple of blocks in that rotation. As this one, an ace off the hands of Addison Stoner, her 15th ace of the season. She's 3rd on the team in aces. Looking to move up, and Lane Tech will take a 9-4 lead, 5-point lead here, as we will see the Panthers call timeout. They've called all the timeouts here tonight in this matchup as their coaching staff looks to inject some life into this team, who, after playing very well through the first 4 points or so, have kind of slowed down their momentum, and Lane Tech has been able to jump out to a lead. This is a lot different than what we saw in the first set. It was close really up until this point. It was about 9-8, maybe 10-8 when we saw the two teams really going back and forth, and then from there Lane Tech was able to take off and eventually get to that 8-point lead. But Regina was able to compete through the first 20 points or so in that first set, and we will see if they're able to do that here in set number 2. But first they will need a little bit of a comeback, as we're going to see Lane Tech break their huddle first. That's different than what we saw in the first set from Regina when they left their timeouts early. They used almost a whole minute there to talk things over. And we'll see if it pays off. Stoner looking for another ace here. Serves this one soft, but able to be received here from the Panthers. Back set. Wild. Cross court. Finds the ground. What a shot there from Campbell Wild. And Lane reaches double digits here, a 6-point lead. An excellent set there, and then Wild, just a very interesting shot. Almost had some curve to it, and I think the ball went into the little hallway there. Got lost for a second, but they're able to get it back via one of the Lane Tech security guards. And Lane Tech playing very well, possibly the best we've seen today here off of this rotation, as Stoner with her second ace of the rotation. She's up to 16 on the year now, and Lane Tech off to a 7-point lead here in set number 2, 11-4. Very hard for this Regina team to tell what's coming. We've seen some very soft serves and some very far ones like that last one, as Kevin's forced to play this one after what just happened. Dug out here by Stauber. Crane tries for the block, but in the front row there for the Panthers will be Birch and Ella Grillo, who finally get the serve is back for the Panthers. Now they trail by 6. They're going to need a little bit of a run here to get back in this one. Line drive serve. Crane just taps it over. There was 2 blockers there for Regina in the form of Leahy and Birch. However, neither of them are able to get it. It was just too high of a hit there from Crane, and Lane Sack will get their service back after just 1 serve from Regina. Sarah Thompson now back to serve for Lane Sack. Goes from near the middle of that back line. And another miscommunication, this time between Kevin and Ella Grillo. And that's about the 3rd point that Lane Tech has received this match, just because of miscommunication there from Regina. And that's obviously something you want to limit. This one played soft from Thompson. Kill attempt, and they're going to give the point to Regina. So last time the Panthers got their service back, they were really not able to do anything with it. Didn't get any points off their serve, gave it almost immediately back to Lane Tech. We'll see what they can do here. This one played to the back row. Anderson able to have the reception. She runs up to bump it over. And a nice kill there from Peyton Birch, who's a sophomore, playing much better these last couple of points. And they're going to give the point to Lane Tech there. I think they might have said it was no contact or something. The coaches for Regina not happy with that call, but Lane Tech instead will go up by 8, 14-6. Stauber with the set a little too far there, but Lane's able to recover. A nice dig on the back row here for Regina. And the kill attempt just too far from Ella Grillo. She had 3 kills last night against the Lake Forest Academy. This one just goes a little too far inside. And Lane Tech now 10 points away from a 2-set sweep here on Wednesday nights. This one palmed. Anderson able to save it. That one looked like it was able to go out, but Anderson decides to go with it and is somehow able to get it over. And they're going to give the point to Regina. Not sure what the call was there from the referees, but whistles blowing much more than we saw at the start here these last couple of plays. It'll go 15-7 Lane Sack. That was Birch serving for the Panthers. And this one just too short off the hands of Ella Grillo. She's been getting a lot of contact with the ball here, but just does not seem to have enough control these last couple of points. As we'll see Catherine Hong and Amina Ahmad check into the game. So second service rotation here for Hong. Went too far on her first serve of this set. This time off the tape and finds the ground for a point. So Hong gets her second, possibly third ace of the game here to put Lane Tech up 10. We'll see if she can do it again. This one played off the arms and another ace. This time off the arms of Erin Collins. And Lane Tech now up to an 11-point lead. They're cruising here in set number 2. And finally, service goes back to Regina as Hong goes a little too far here on her second straight. Very interesting. Hong she started off a little too soft. That went off the top of the net, landed for a point, but almost ended up not being a point. Second one went to the middle, was played by the Regina team as Anderson gets the kill here, and then the third serve from Hong went way too far. So what we talked about, Lane Tech has been varying the power of their shots, the speed of their shots, and even their serves here in this matchup, as Crane and Gavaldon will check into the game for Claire Anderson and Thompson. 19-8 lead for Lane Tech, and we'll see if Gavaldon can cut into that 6 points needed to take the victory here at Lane Gymnasium. Stauber punched that one too far back. Looked like she was not happy with her choice there. There was Gavaldon in the back row ready for the dig. With her positioning, she probably would have had a slightly better chance to keep the point alive. And Regina will now look to make a little bit of run of their own. Crane from the outside. Haven't had a lot of success with that shot here tonight. And an excellent kill there from Ella Grillo. And that's one of the more excited moments we have seen from this Panthers team all night. They were very excited after that shot. They get to the double-digit mark here in set number 2, and now they just trail by 9. A very soft serve, almost worked, but Stauber in there for the reception, and Crane able to punch it over. Grillo again. All these shots going very soft, and no one was there for the set. I think Lane Tech thought that was going over. It ends up not going over, and instead that will be 3 straight points for Regina, a 19-11 lead. Hong now does a correct set, and Copenhaver's there for the points. So Lane Tech gets within 5 of the win here in set number 2. This is the start of what should be a slightly easier schedule for Lane Tech over their next 10 matches or so. They had a couple tough invitationals. This one goes a little too far for the point for Regina, and some tough conference matchups, but their next 7, 8, 9 matches should be wins or at least close matches for Lane Tech as they look to kind of surge near the end of this regular season. Anderson trying to punch that one over, but the referees won't allow it. And Regina playing much better in these last couple of minutes than what we saw at the start of the set. They've cut it to a 7-point lead. Lane Tech still only needs 5 to take the win. Delaney Kevin's been serving here for Lane Tech. For Regina. She's by far been the best server here. And they keep on going with just this very soft serve that just barely gets over the net. And Lane Tech will get the point here to get up, back up by 8, 21-13 the score. Let's see. Addison Stoner and Campbell Wild check in for Hong and Ahmad. Saw Stoner have 2 aces her last service rotation. We'll see what she can do here. This one played very high off the hands of Grillo, and the kill just a little too far there from Birch. Just a sophomore, she's shown some definite skill here tonight, but the main problem has just been locating the inbounds during those kill attempts, but she can locate those. She's going to be a very dangerous player to watch here in IHSA action these next couple of years as she lays down the kill here. Just as I'm saying that, she finds the middle of the court and gets Regina back within 8, 22-14 here in set number 2. She's playing just in the center front court for the Panthers and has been very impressive this second set. Another short serve here from Regina. Crane who has to have a big bump there to put it over, but it works. Birch now with a soft hit. Stauber to Crane on the outside pin, but unable to locate the ground. A rare blocking there from Wild and Anderson. Came in at a weird angle, and Regina has been rolling here the last couple of points. 22-15 now the score. Lane just needs 3 points to take the set, and they almost get one of them there, and now they will get it off the hands of Brooke Anderson. Just too powerful of a kill. They were able to keep it alive, but unable to fully recover from that shot and get it over the net. As Lane Tech now just 2 away from the win. Sarah Thompson will be back to serve. Lane looking to possibly win it on her rotation. They won 3 straight points off their serve to win the first set. We'll see if they can do 2 here. Stoner and Wild almost bumped into each other there. Claire Anderson with the kill, and this one goes too soft off the hands there of Brady Murphy, the junior, and Lane Tech now on match point. Thompson is a soft serve received by Kevin. And a booming shot there from Ella Grillo, who has shown some excellent play and a couple of points here in both the first and second set. And Regina will get their service back. Still match point number 2 here for Lane Tech. Stoner back set to Anderson. This one goes a little too far. And that will be the second straight point here for Regina. That's been Grace Leahy back to serve for the Panthers, the senior right side outside hitter. This time Stoner goes for the forward hit. Anderson unable to locate the kill though. And they're going to say point goes to Regina here. So Panthers either delaying the inevitable here or they're amidst a very good comeback. 3 straight points now for the Panthers, and it'll be match point number 4 for Lane Tech. 24-18. Anderson with the soft touch, and they're going to call a double hit there, I think, off of Birch, and that should be the match. Talking things over, the head referee here is saying it went off the arms of Birch and then it hit the net and then it came back and hit her again. They're telling the players to remain, the players who are playing to stay on the court and the players on the benches to stay near the benches as both of the referees talk things over. If it stands, it will be a 25-18 win for Lane Tech, but instead they give it to Regina. And they blew the point dead early. I'm not sure how this works here. The scoreboard's staying at 24-18. I think a point just might not be awarded here. As Lane will try to win it again. Brooke Anderson too far on the kill, and now just a 5-point lead for Lane Tech. Lane having some trouble trying to close this one out. Yesterday, they just had a 2-point second set win against Chicago, Washington to take the conference win, but they had a big first set victory, kind of like what we saw here today, and then they struggled to close it out there at the end of the second set. Similar motion here from Lane Tech. Stauber gives it to Stoner. Claire Anderson, in her return to Lane Gymnasium, closes it out. A 25-19 win for Lane Tech in set number 2, and they're going to get the win here. So 2 nice victories from Lane Tech in set 1 and set 2 as they take another win. They get their home record to 500 on the year, and now they're just 1 win away from being at 500 on the year, which they'll look to get tomorrow night on Teacher Appreciation Night at Lane Gymnasium. That is set for a 6 p.m. first serve against the Von Steuben Panthers. As always, we will have the call here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel starting at 5:55 p.m., barring a late JV start like we had here today. But we'll see. Should be another fun night of action from here from Lane Gymnasium. It will be a conference matchup too for Lane Tech. But that's just about all the time we have here tonight. A very nice win for Lane Tech. We saw excellent plays really on all factors. They had some nice defensive play on the front line. Lane Tech shots were falling in a variety of ways here tonight, and the serving was very excellent here from Lane as they get the 2-set victory over the Regina Dominican Panthers. Finally gained that win 8 years, or I guess 9 years now removed from the last time these two played, a 2-1 loss for Lane Tech. That's about all we have for today. Your final score from Lane Gymnasium: Lane Tech Champions 2, Regina Dominican Panthers 0. My name's Alex Burstein. Good night.